Welcome back to the channel, everybody. On my way to film this top 10 gear video, I spotted a trail that's almost always closed, but today it was open. Just off Highway 38 on the way up to Angeles Oaks, it called to me. I had to explore this trail. There's a fire tower up there somewhere. Sometimes the best stories start with unexpected detours. So yeah, it is the Morton Peak Lookout Tower. It is manned. It says right there on that sign. But it's closed to the public. I didn't know that. Bummer. I bet you the view from up there is insane. Perched at 4,622 feet in the San Bernardino Mountains, Morton Peak Fire Lookout offers sweeping views of Mill Creek Canyon and the Inland Empire. Built in 1934, the original tower was destroyed by a wildfire in 1959 and rebuilt in 1961. Today, volunteers staff the tower seasonally, sometimes welcoming visitors to the historic fire watch site. Today, it's not really about trails, although I've gone up a trail that's been always closed, and now I've found another trail out of Angeles Oaks, California. It's the Thomas Hunting Trail, and there is this perfect spot right here that I just came across. What I'm really out here to do today, though, guys, is film a gear video. Something I've not done in 4 years. I've never done a gear video. I've done some gear, and I've obviously done installs and stuff like that, but never a top 10. And what is this today? Is it a top 10 best you gotta have it gears? No. This is my top 10 that I've had either all 4 years that I've camped or had long enough to know that yes, it might be expensive, but it's good quality stuff and has lasted for me and most likely would last for anyone. So I'm here today to show and share all my gear, all 10 items that I use every time I go camping, that I have used for 4 years every time I go camping, and that I can tell you without fail and without a doubt is reliable and worth every penny you spend on it, even though some of them aren't real cheap. Hang in there and I'll show you all 10. First item is going to be tables. I pack my tables on the driver's side rear window, right between the roll bar and the window. They pack in here perfectly. The Camco and the King Camp 4-fold, they're quad-fold, whatever you want to call them, bamboo tops. I love them. Let me show you. I'll start with the little one. So it's real simple. First thing I pull out of the Jeep every time we hit camp is the little table. That way I can have a drink and relax if I want to before I really get into setting up camp. But not really, just because it's what's become my first step. As you see why they call it a 4-fold or quad fold. These two little brackets slide around and lock the table in place. And then you just pull out the legs one at a time, locking them out. Of course, aluminum legs, bamboo top aluminum legs. This table I have had for 4 years. Actually, I've had both my tables for 4 years. No issues whatsoever with the Camco. It's small. It's what I eat on and what I prep food on. It's what I bring to the campfire next to my chair for, you know, like a drink, snack. I love this table. It's never done me wrong, and I just enjoy the engineering of the table. Next one is the King Camp. This guy is what I cook on, set up my kitchen on. Unfolds just like the other one. Identical engineering. Same exact setup. Slide these two bars into place to lock the top of the table in place. And then you just fold out the aluminum legs. You saw how quickly it sets up. $120 for the King Camp, $69.99 for the Camco smaller table. Not cheap tables, not tiny tables, not real compact tables. But I need what I need for space, and I loved the design. I love the cleanability of the bamboo tops. And I have a place for them in my kit right there in the back window. Super, super happy with my tables. Love them. Next item is going to be where I sit my camp chair. I'll show you where I stash it, how it fits in my kit, and why I love it. Hang on a second. So just like my camp tables, my camp chair fits inside the Jeep along the back window. This time on the passenger side, it fits perfectly. And guess what? I can fit two of them, stack them neatly right here. Let me get it out and show you why I love this chair. The GCI Road Trip Rocker. Sorry folks, most comfortable camp chair ever. I have only had GCI chairs with the rockers the whole time. I've been camping for 4 years. The first one I bought, I had to replace. Not because it broke, not because it wasn't comfortable, not because it was too big, as some might think these are way too big for camp chairs, but because it blew into the fire. I think I have a picture somewhere. If I do, you're looking at it now. There's no more comfortable chair. You can get smaller, you can get kind of comfortable, you can get cheap, but you can't get this comfortable in camp. Couple of the downsides to the chair: its size. It's not compact. The price, $100. They're right at $100 on Amazon and on their website. I love the ability to sit there and comfortably rock. One other thing that might start happening is the shocks might start squeaking, and something as quick and easy as cooking spray will take the squeak away, and it lasts. The camp chair is probably one of the most interchanged and overly changed items of camping gear. People just don't seem to be able to get comfortable in their chair. They choose one and it's too small. They choose another, it's too big. They choose this one that folds out and it breaks. We spend way too much money on these chairs. $100 gets you a rocker, lasts 3 years, and there's nothing more comfortable sitting around a campfire while you're rocking back and forth. You can rock back, look at the stars. It's amazing, people. I'm just telling you, it's what I've used for 3-4 years. Give it a shot. See what you think. Let me know what you think about the GCI Road Trip Rocker chairs. Check them out. The next item is going to be what I cook on. So I have two different types of cooking equipment. I have the Coleman Sargent dual burner, which was rugged and worked well for me for about 6 months to a year. What I didn't know I wasn't getting from the Coleman was burner control. The Coleman is either on full blast or off. So me liking to cook, a lot of overlanders or camping folks, we all love to camp and cook, right? Cook and camp. It's one of the things we love, all of us love to do when we're out camping, is cooking. And I just couldn't get past burning everything. So I did a lot of research and I ended up biting the bullet. Why do I say biting the bullet? I went with the Jetboil Genesis base cab system. So it's the dual burner fold out system. You can hook it up to a green can or your propane tank if you have one. It's $400. That's kind of why I say I bit the bullet. Now, here's the thing. I still use it 3 years later, a little more than 3 years later, and it still works perfectly. And I gotta tell you, it's like being in my own kitchen when I talk about burner control. I can slowly simmer something. I can boil water in minutes and everything in between. I can sear a steak and then let it cook slowly. Everything. It's got perfect burner control. There's nothing better on the market. So for the price, for me, it was worth it to be able to cook legit meals. The dual burner meant a lot. You could get most things dual burner, but it meant a lot because I like to do side dishes. So, you know, you got two things going at the same time. It's reliable, it's rugged, it's compact. Let me show you real fast. So here is the jet boil. Let me show you how quickly and easily it can be set up. I have put this is the hose that it comes with that you can hook up to your propane tank with this end here. And with this end here, I can tie into just like it was a green tank here. So comes with a pan, everything's dirty and used, a lid. So it neatly tucks away inside of a water boiling water boiling pot. You could cook spaghetti in this for like 20 people. I've never used it, which is a shame because it's a great bowl. It neatly folds in half. It is so dirty because it is so well used. You put the gas connector on, it screws on right here, and then a green can go on, or again, you can use this to hook up to your propane bottle. $400 is a lot of money for this. This is not a lot of stuff for 400 bucks, but folks, I love cooking in camp, and that's why I needed the burners. That's why I spent the money. I recommend the Jetboil Genesis camp system. I just do. What's next? What are we gonna show you? I know, more cooking. Hang on, let me grab it out of the Jeep. The newest item of camping cooking gear that I have in my kit. I've only had it this year since January. This very model I've only had since March, early April. I saw the ad for the Stotech Jewel. Its competition would be the Jetboil kettle that boils in like 20 seconds because it's so amazing. Just kidding about 20 seconds. The Jetboil can boil water fast, but not that fast. This is the electric version of that. I saw it and thought, man, I'm up early in camp a lot. So I bought it. I bought it for 100 bucks. It's 100 bucks online, whether it's their store or Amazon. I bought mine on Amazon and I loved it. I used it in camp. It was fairly quiet. When you think about it, coffee isn't supposed to be boiling water. That's too hot for coffee. So just prior to it boiling, about 6 minutes for me, 6 or 7 minutes for me, and I could start making some coffee. So I used it. I camped with it twice, and then I went out to the desert, and for whatever reason, never came on and it never boiled water. I got home from that trip and contacted StokeVoltaics via their email. StokeVoltaics answered my email in less than 24 hours, asked me to show a picture of the damage or what was going on. In my response to that, I said, it's not really damaged. I made a 7-10 second video showing them that it would turn on sort of, but then not turn on and boil. Within 24 hours of me responding with that and them actually saying, hey, we saw your video, thank you for the video, they asked for my mailing address because they wanted to send me a brand new one, and in 3 days I received this. Some of the best thunder. It's thundering. I might get rained on. I think it is sprinkling a little bit right now. So we need to hurry. Some of the best customer service I've dealt with in any of these companies. Now, granted, most of the companies that I've been talking about, I haven't had to utilize, thankfully. And I would hope and expect that these companies would all have the same, but proven to be great customer service, StokeVoltaics. Thank you very much for sending me out a replacement for the one that I bought that stopped working for unknown reasons. I still love it. I use it every camping trip. And like I just said, I actually use it in my office sometimes early morning, late at night to make more coffee when I'm editing so that I'm not loud in the kitchen. Love this thing. It's quiet in camp, quiet in home, works anywhere, takes about 10% of the Jackery 500. This battery, love it. I recommend it. If you want to start going electric, this would be the way to try it out. Figure out your battery system, how much it's taking from you. Somebody's mad at me. I recommend it. All right, what's next? So the next item on my top 10, and I don't remember where we're at, 4 or 5, is Jackery. I started out 4 years ago with the Jackery Explorer 500, this very one. It has served me well. I strap it down right here on the rack, and then I run the cord from the fridge up behind, and right here it plugs in here for the fridge, and this cord here runs around, back and down, and is plugged into the Jeep's 12 volt. I make sure it's at 100 when I leave the house. Has to be at 100. When I'm driving, I leave it plugged in to the Jeep. When I get to camp, I just automatically now, after all these years, come back here and I unplug it. When I get to camp, generally speaking, it's at 100%. This little 500 can run this fridge for 2 days straight, all by itself, no issues. The Jewel takes about 10%, 13% every time I boil water. So if it goes down by 10% in camp because it ran maybe even 20 or 30% in camp because it ran the fridge really hard overnight, that's not normal, but let's say it did. I would still have enough to boil myself a cup of water for a cup of coffee and 2 or 3 of my buddies, and have plenty of battery left over because I'm going to get back on the road. I'm going to then plug this back into the Jeep for the entire day that we're exploring and finding trails and looking for a new campsite, which generally is about 8 hours, no less than 5. 5 hours, if it's down to 50%, will get me back to 80%, I would say, without fail. 8 hours on the trail will get me to 100% again, in the 90s at least. So far, this system has never let me down. I've never run out of power. The closest I've come to running out of power was Expo West in 2022, where we were there for almost 4 full days. And we had to break out the solar panels, and I was down to like 3% the day we left. The system works, it runs the fridge and now runs the Jewel. I love Jackery, I love it to death. Let me get the 1000 that I bought, and I'll put it out here and we'll take a look at it. Okay. The Jackery Explorer 1000 Plus. I love this. It has served me well for almost a year now. The Solar Saga 100 watt solar panels are pretty cool. They fold out flat. They have 2 legs in the back here that are Velcroed, but you can lay it back on the handles. The cord's in here. I'll show you the footage I got when I was at the Arch. Here, I'm in the Arizona desert camping at the Royal Arch, located on the Arizona Peace Trail. It's a good video. You should check it out when this one's over. It's about 3 or 4 in the afternoon with a clear desert sky, and I'm getting 85 watts input from one 100 watt panel, and then 164 watts from 2 100 watt panels. You can see on the screen, at 164 watts input, the Jackery 1000 will go from 69% charge to 100% charge in 3.5 hours at the current input. That's pretty darn good. So what I use the 1000 for, I might have to pack up. It's a little scary. What I use the 1000 for mostly is just all the charging stuff, the drone, the cameras, my lights, my headlamps, everything I use, my phone, everything that runs off battery that's chargeable, rechargeable, I charge off of this. This, without being plugged into anything, will last a trip of at least 4 or 5 days. So do your own research, spend your own money, pick the one that you want and give it a shot. I'm just here to vouch for Jackery. Before I go on to the next item, I forgot. Jackery's price range. Generally speaking, all of these battery systems run about $100 a watt hour. So the 500 was like $4.99. The 1000, it was $1,600, $1,500, something like that for the 1000. But I also got the 2 solar panels, so that's the extra money. So cost it's not cheap. Also, they're heavy. But they're all heavy. If you need battery power in your rig, it's not going to be cheap and it's not going to be lightweight. Jackery has amazing sales. They have like 50% off sales, like 4 times a year it seems. So keep an eye on their website and hit them at the right moment, and you can get a fantastic deal for a Jackery. Going back a little bit to cooking, I forgot my utensil set. Top 10 for sure. I've had this all 4 years. Not one camp trip without this. Destination Kitchen 24, it's a GSI product. You can find this on the GSI website. This is the 24 meeting. It's got 24 pieces. What's it come with? It has a knife. It's got all the utensils you would need. Spoon. The cool thing about these is they're compact because they fold. And then you've got tongs. It's got a spatula that does the same thing. A big spoon for the ladle. All fold out perfectly. It's got 4 sets of forks, spoons, and knives. It's got a small cutting board. It's got things you can put soaps in. It's just like the go-to. It's pretty compact. It goes right up here in a bin that sits up here. It's always there for me in camp. I love cooking and I love using my utensils to cook with. And this absolute go-to, absolute top 10, without a doubt, top 10. What's next? Top 10 item for anyone who goes camping once a month or 6 times a year, and certainly anyone that camps more than that. If you are still using a cooler and ice, I would just ask that you try a refrigerator. And look, I'm not sponsored by Iceco or any other product here. I'm not sponsored at all. I don't have any sponsors, zero. But the refrigerator is a game changer. To not have to worry about ice and that sloshing water and ice ruining your bread and all your meats and just all your stuff getting ruined in your cooler. And you can spend $500 on a cooler, right? That might last 2 days with some ice, but you're always going to have to add ice. Always, no matter what cooler it is. Always, always, always. And it's always going to melt. There's always that sloshing mess, right? I would ask you to just try a refrigerator or talk to somebody besides me, but talk to somebody else who's using a fridge. Iceco BL45. I've adorned it with many, many stickers and patches. I just love this fridge. It's rugged. My compressors, from my research, are some of the top of the line compressors for fridges, especially in this niche. I've never had a single issue, knock on bamboo, because once you get a refrigerator, you'll never want to go back to a cooler. So if this breaks, immediately I gotta go spend $550 more. Have to. Because I'm not gonna use a cooler out here on the trails or at camp. Just not gonna do it. This is my baby. I love my fridge. If you get one, you will love it too. It does not have to be an Iceco. It's big enough to feed 2 people for 4 days, 3 days comfortably. In other words, 3 meals, all the drinks you want, water, soda, beer, whatever, condiments, meats for lunch, and like a main dish for dinner. It'll all fit in here if you package it right. For 3 days, you could force 4 days into there for meals for 2 people, comfortably 3 days for 2 people. Do your own research, find the one that looks good, make sure it's quality. It can still be budget friendly, and spend that money on a fridge, because you leave the cooler world behind, and it's worth it. I promise it's worth every penny. Okay, all right, we've got, I think, 2 or 3 more things. Put the fridge back in. Ston tire deflators. One of the first things I bought before I even was into camping or overlanding were these, because I very, very quickly, as will you, and if you haven't already been out there, you'll find out one of the first times you're on a trail how important it is to air down. And there's so many reasons we air down. Comfortable drive, right? You drive on a washboard road for 2 minutes with your tires normal pressure, and then air down to 18, 16 PSI, and it's a world of difference. So much smoother. Just the road just calms down. The pad of the tire gets bigger, which gives you more traction. If you're stuck in sand or mud or snow, you let air out of your tire, you're liable to be able to drive right out of it if you're able to let enough air out. Now, you don't want to go down to like 4 PSI if you don't have bead locks. The wheel's just going to spin right off the tire. If you air down to 18, 16 PSI, the tire's going to give more and roll over that obstacle. right? So you've got comfortability, you've got traction, it's better on the tire. Ston, the simplest of simple. There's 4 of them, 1 for each tire. I believe they come preset at 18 PSI. I could be wrong. To adjust them, you adjust the top ring, they screw, and then the bottom ring, I believe, locks that in place. I'm almost positive. Read the directions. Then you just replace the valve cover. You twist this on, and it reduces the PSI in your tire to whatever you have it set on. I've always gone with 18 PSI. You could go with a group of 10 different people, and they'd be wearing down in 10 different ways, right? Different equipment, different ways of doing it. Simple thing. All I do is I get my little Ston pack out of the center console. I get out, I walk around, I take the cap off, put this on. I do that 4 times, and then I come back and I sit down right here. Takes about 5 minutes at most. And then I can monitor the PSI on my Jeep. When it gets down to 18, generally speaking, I get out and they're all stopped because they stop at 18 PSI if that's what they're set on. And I take them off and replace the cap. Put them back in their container, and it goes right back into the center console where they've lived for 4 years. Literally have never left here. The other thing I bought was a fairly good pressure gauge. Because then I can, if I feel like it, I can go around and check. And if I need a little air out of 1 or 2 tires to make them even, I can. Most of the time I don't care anymore. Not when I'm airing down. I use this when I'm airing back up. Which is the next item on the top 10 list. My compressor. Come back here and I'll show you. My compressor inconspicuously lives right here in the tool area of my kit, my setup inside my rig. And I keep my drills, and there's a toilet, my tool rolls. My compressor lives right here. The Viair 440p, 363 bucks, not cheap, right? Second one I've had to buy only because the first Viair that I had only operated well on 33-inch tires and less. So when I went to 35s, I had to buy this. It's a very simple system. It's starting to rain, hail, snow, whatever the hell it is. So I'm gonna hurry up. This is the system. This is just the bag. You plug your air hose here, which it comes with an air hose right here. The air hose has a gauge. The gauge does not work very well. Air hose, gauge, this goes onto the tire. This plugs into here, just like any air compressor system. So it's obviously not hard mounted to your car, but which I've always wanted, but those are expensive and I haven't quite gotten there yet. Why have I not done that? Hard mounted on my car, onboard air. Because I feel like this is onboard air, it's just in a bag. And 2, it's expensive and I just haven't gotten around to doing it. And this has never failed me. So maybe when this finally does fail me one day, someday, maybe never, but if it ever did, maybe I'd look for maybe do onboard air. Viair has onboard air systems, so I might go with that. But what you have to do is you have to connect this to your car battery. Engine has to be running, and this thing will air up your tires from anywhere from 16 to 18 PSI back up to 38 to 40 PSI and 35-inch tires, and I think it's rated through 37s. 13-14 minutes. I timed it and it was somewhere right there. 13-14 minutes total, all 4 tires. There are systems where you have onboard air and you have 2 hoses coming out, or 2 sides of the car have jacks, and you plug all 4 tires in at the same time. And I've always thought, wow, that'd be really fast. My understanding, I've never known anybody that had one personally or stood next to them, but it's my understanding it still takes 10 minutes to pump up all 4 tires. If I'm wrong about that, please someone in the comments let me know. But I've never been left behind using this to air up. Never been left behind. Nobody's come over to me and go, what the heck's taking you so long? We're leaving. Not one time have my buddies done that to me, and nor will yours. If they have the ability to air up faster than you, they are not going to leave you. Trust me. If they do, they're not your friends. Find somebody else to wheel with. Hit me up in the emails or the comments. You can come with us because we won't leave you behind. Add 5 minutes. This right here, holy bananas, gets hot. Like hot. I'm always afraid to put it in the bag too soon. So as soon as I get done with the 4th tire, I unplug it, I put it in the shade, and I just let it sit for 5 more minutes. So it can be a good 20-minute air up period of time. Still haven't had anybody leave me behind. If your friends do that to you, don't call them friends and call me. We'll go, you come with us. I promise. They're not gonna do that to you. That's the air up system. There's one more item on my top 10 list that is actually number 1. I saved number 1 for last. I don't know why, but I did. It's the Devos Light Ranger 1200. By far number 1 in my kit. By far. Why? Because like some of these other items, you can use them anywhere. I have barbecued with this at home. I have done yard work at home. I have worked on the Jeep at home. I've worked at the Jeep in the field. I've installed parts in the back of the Jeep, all while using this because it's that versatile. It is, if we come into camp late, it is the first thing that comes out because it will light up your whole camp area. Enough for you to set up camp comfortably without worrying about stumbling and bumbling around in the dark. This is the most valuable player in my kit. Like I said, I've barbecued with this. I'm afraid to put it up because of the lightning, so I'm not going to put it up all the way. But it goes up 10 feet, I believe, which is amazing because the higher it goes, the more light spread you get. The higher it goes, the higher the bugs are because they hover around the light. Hang on. I love this thing so much, I'm not going to get it wrong. So I wrote all this down in my research before doing the video. Devos Light Ranger 1200, blah, we already talked about it. I've used it for everything. Illuminates 60 feet when it's fully elevated at 10 feet, I believe. It's got 1200 lumens, up to 80-hour runtime. Of course, that's, I think, maximum. If you have all 4 lights on, it's less. You can break that down to half the lights on. It's more than less. I think one block is 80 hours. I could be totally wrong, but I've never ran out of battery in one night with this thing. But it's not the kind of light you have to leave on all night. They also have, so I was telling you earlier, they have different models. So they have the 800 mini, will light up your dinner table, whatever you wanted it for. Inside, works inside probably really well. The 800, which is similar to this, but smaller, less bright. Obviously the 1200, which I have, they have a 2000 now, and now they have a 4000 that they're actually marketing for like firemen, police, crime scenes, that kind of stuff. And look, coming from being a cop for 25 years, yeah, I was a detective sergeant and a detective, narcotics detective. I would have loved these. I would have probably had 5 of them in my unit or my rig for work, because you could come out and pop these up in minutes or less and have amazing light. So I see why they're starting to get into that niche. Good thinking there, Devos. Head of marketing should get a raise. That's it, man. I use this thing everywhere all the time. Never been to camp without it. And for the price, it has lasted and will continue to be my number 1 out of the top 10 probably forever. I don't think anybody or anything's going to knock it out of the top 10. Sorry, guys. Whew, that's been 4 hours up here on top of this hill during a lightning storm. The top 10 list, guys. What do you think? Please tell me if this helped. Please let me know your thoughts on all the items of equipment, and tell me what your top 10 list is if you want to. If you agree or disagree, that's perfectly fine. Again, this is not me saying you have to have these items. You do need this. This you have to have. I'll stand by that forever. I would say you need to have all this stuff in some shape or form. I'm just telling you what I use, what's been good for me, what's been reliable, and what I would vouch for after 4 years of using them. I can't say enough how all this gear has just been going in and out of my Jeep on trip after trip, numerous trips a year, and without fail has done me right, And I stand by all this equipment. God stands by the equipment. Thank you. Take a look at these items. If you like these items, I wish I had affiliates. I don't, but that would just give me money. You're going to spend the same amount. Go check it out. Decide for yourself. Come up with your own top 10 and tell me what they are. Hey, I love making these videos. I love coming out here into the mountains. I even love the thunderstorm. I really do. Thank you for watching. If you're liking these videos, please like, subscribe, hit the bell button. Patreon's live. I don't have a lot there. I think I might release videos early there if anybody wants to join. Nobody has yet. I mean, there's one person there, but you might guess that it's me. Check it out. See what you think. Give me some thoughts and ideas. I'm torn with what to put on that thing, man. I just don't know. But check it out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. 40p compressor. Holy cow, those are huge drops of water. That's hail. Oh, that was like snow. Jeez, Harmony. Take two. Why am I holding the lightning rod in a lightning storm? Please still be recording.